is that, and I know that DDR5 is more advanced than DDR4, but I don't know, like the problem is that in order to take advantage of these things, the motherboard, the processor, and the RAM all have to line up more or less.
Everything needs to play nice to each other. They all have to be compatible with each other.
And compatibility, like there's a lot of little tools now. Like back in my day, you had to like do your research, but now like these like little builder tools will just tell me that things are compatible with each other. But compatible and can fully use the speed of are not quite the same thing.
That's the fucking thing, though. Is I tell people like, yeah, I build my own PCs. Because they ask like, what store do you get your PC from? I'm like, I just build them, and they think like I'm some super whiz that's like soldering the circuitry and shit. And I'm just like, no. Like,
people don't like. Here's the thing, I build my own too. And you tell people that, and it's the same thing. They think you're a fucking genius, but they also think that anytime a computer has any issue, you just know. I'm like, bro, I have no fucking idea, okay? I'm not some super genius. I keep trying to tell people, I'm like, dude, building a PC is just adult Legos. It really is. Everything has a set spot.
Even adult Legos, dude. Like, it's fucking easier than that.
But I also feel like nowadays, like one other thing that's different than the last time I tried this is that people want aesthetics. Like all these parts are gonna like have RGB things on them, maybe, and like the case is transparent. And, like it's not supposed to look like a nest of like wires that are all like brightly colored to indicate what they're plugging into.
My PC looking like a disco ball is not gonna up its performance, man. If anything, it's gonna make it worse.
It's like because people are like, oh, you got mismatching like LEDs and stuff. I'm just like. You want to know how often I see those LEDs? When I open the case to do something to my computer, and then I don't look at it for another year. Like,
but you could get a transparent case size that you could see them all the time.
The only reason I like having a transparent case, because mine is just so I could fucking just look at it when I need to, or to see like, oh yeah, I got cracked it open.
You have an MSI? You have an MSI motherboard at all?
Not right now. Right.
I just want to make sure that the RAM elves haven't eaten my RAM and replaced it with a shoe.
My next build, I'm gonna go MSI for it.
Because it has the debug lights right there on the motherboard, right? So I can just I have a transparent case because I didn't get it because it's transparent. It's because the case I wanted happened to have a transparent thing on the site. But I can just glance through my window. If something's a little weird, I can check and I can look at the motherboard to see the debug lights.
Well, that light, it's not just MSI. Most
NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1060 3 gigabytes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's not good enough.
That's your issue for why Baldur's Gate is struggling.
I know, and everything about this computer is kind of like, well, this will get me back up and running. But at the time, I was like, I don't know. But now, like, I got promoted into management, and so I'm like, I'm gonna freaking waste some money here. I'm gonna like, whatever. I'm gonna get a computer that does have a disco ball in it for no good reason. I don't know.
When I went to my non-commissioned officer course when I was in the Army, there was this fucking dude. This guy's actually like a fucking idiot. Okay, so he's like, dude, Macintosh is for gaming. I'm like, it really isn't, because nothing's really built around Macintosh. Like 99% of people playing shit are playing on PC, and they're like, dude, bro, dude, I ran Borderlands 2 on only 2 gigabytes of RAM. I'm like, what the fuck does that even mean, bro? That doesn't mean anything. Like, bro, I can get my motorcycle up to 90 miles an hour with only 3/4 of a tank of gas. That makes no sense. That makes no sense. Those are two metrics that don't align with each other.
I remember when I was a poor grad student, my nice at the time but dying computer was slowly like losing the capacity to like regulate its own heat. So I got one of those, one of those like, I want to say box fans. One of those fans that's like a square. It's like a little bit more than a foot square on each, and it just runs, and you buy it at Walmart. It's about the size, conveniently, of a computer case on its side. You know what I'm talking about? It's like $16 at Walmart.
You talking about like super tiny little box one? You talking like a bigger one? Like...
No, I'm talking about the kind of fan that you're not supposed to use to cool a computer. The kind of fan you're supposed to use to cool a person or a room.
You hear that in the background?
No.
You hear that? You hear that noise in the background?
No.
No.
Hold on.
So anyway, what I did was I just opened up the case permanently and just put the fan on it to blow air directly into the computer case to try and get myself a little bit more time with that computer, because it was constantly like the CPU would overheat and the computer would just shut itself down from the heat protection on the CPU. And like it was just completely dying.
Okay, do you fucking hear it now?
No, I think the Discord's pretty good at not picking up background
Oh,
noise.
I have Chris one this way. Hold on. I was just wondering if you could hear. Hold on.
Oh,
I'm surprised you can't hear that actually. Okay, do you hear it now?
Yes.
Yeah. That's exactly what I'm doing right now.
Well, I would warn you that at some point I got so used to having my computer case open that I did accidentally dump a like soft drink into it.
Well, no. I have it pointed directly at my intake because it's mostly like I just need to swap out the thermal paste, and I went and grabbed it. Finally, stopped being lazy and got it out of like my closet, and now I need to actually like take 30 minutes. I'm just fucking lazy, and probably tomorrow or some shit. I'm gonna like just open up the case and I just need to reapply the thermal paste because I haven't replaced it in like a year. So that's all it needs. So it's just a little warmer than normal.
Is thermal paste still a thing with like these liquid cooled things? Do you put current
Yes.
thermal paste?
Yes. Yes.
You have to, anytime you put any cooler on, it doesn't matter what type of cooler, you have to put some thermal paste on it.
Now some CPUs will like to make your life a little easier. It'll come with a pad that'll last for a little while, but so it'll just be a thermal pad that you just apply before you put your fan on. But most of the time it's still paste. I just need to open up my case like sometime tomorrow and fucking just reapply it. But in the meantime, I've just had a fan pointed at it just to keep it from getting too warm.
I mean, I kind of do that same thing, but not really. It's more like, how to explain it? So like across my room, I have a fan, but I'll have it aiming towards direction of my computer, so then like, you know, it takes in some cool air. It doesn't need it. It'd be nice. I'm like, here you go. Mostly during the summer. I'm like, here you go, buddy.
Well, no, during the summer, like the ambient temperature in my apartment obviously drops because the AC.
So I want to buy one of those like clear cases with white components with like RGB and make a like.
Have you seen the fish tank builds?
Yes.
No, is this just where you fill the whole case with like mineral oil or something?
Yep, that's exactly what it is. Yeah, they'll take mineral oil and then like build a PC in an aquarium. Like it's just like a neat little thing, I guess.
And then you just
and the
have
practicality to it is heat is never an issue, but when you want to like take a part out or swap a part, it's a fucking mess. Yeah, it's a mess.
Yeah, that just seems a little bit. I don't know. I don't want a big goopy. I feel like I feel like that has the same kind of some of the same downsides as having a water bed, where it's like maybe an aquarium is a little more sturdier than a water bed. And eventually, if it fails, it ends up all over everywhere, right? I don't know. Yeah, do we know if Cat's late or if Cat's?
I haven't heard.
That's fair.
Currently, Cat's mic is working, and he's working on making it not work, so you can just use chat.
Oh wow. So what else with PCs? So I was gonna get an i9 and a GTX 4070, I guess, and 64 gigabytes of RAM, even though I don't need it. And I don't know. That's basically what I'm thinking for the, random parts. And then what else is there to it that matters? Not really much of anything. I was just really trying to figure out if I could trust reviews of motherboards anymore, or if everything's just AI generated schlock that the search engine is generating to get me to buy product.
There are many motherboards where 9 times out of 10, like if it's MSI or Asus or Gigabyte, like it's probably fine. Now, my particular motherboard, I have the B450 Max. So when there was just a weird issue with the BIOS, and AMD CPUs when it first came out. It was such a pain in the ass that they actually discontinued the B450 Max and they reintroduced it, but with this issue fixed essentially. There was a serious BIOS issue where it was making it like extreme pain in the ass to use.
Yeah, I don't want to get anything that's like so cutting edge that it's gonna have like run into problems. But it looks like the LG A1700 and this generation of i9 whatever's and all this stuff is like not so cutting edge that it's just not going to work right. I don't know.
Wait,
I'm trying to figure out what is actually like something that even if I don't ultra need every bit of it, I'll at least use. And I feel like the RAM that I can only get up to the speeds on it if I overclock everything, I'm just not going to use it all, so I'm trying to avoid that. But I don't know. And this will actually be the first of all the things. Like I shouldn't say that. I've had like super slim laptops that have solid state drives, but I've never had a desktop PC that its main drive was solid state. Like
that's what I have. That's what I have from mine.
Yeah. Does anybody have Pat on my friends list?
Nope.
No. Well, I'll also make it so that I'll be able to play Dawn Trail when it comes out, because I do suspect that this computer, well, I know from reading the updated system requirements, this computer is not going to be good enough.
Yeah, I'm trying to get mine ready before Dawn Trail. I mean, even though my current PC could run it, but it would be like, pushing it to its limits. I'm like, yeah.
Oh. My PC will be probably fine.
Yeah, I don't think that they're, like, what is it? CryEngine. Well, CryEngine's even a dated reference, but whatever the current thing is now that's, like the game that, is it Cyberpunk that people are saying is the game that, will burn through your graphics card? I don't know.
Right now, I mean, it's more. I kind of agree with that. Cyberpunk's really demanding, from what it's asking, and it's more like even the devs themselves basically told people like, yeah, we all hope you got good coolers, cause it's gonna fucking cook up your CPU like crazy.
That's a big ask for a game that seriously fucking flopped on launch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if people were impressed by this game or they were not impressed by this game.
It was released in a similar state to, like, say, fucking, like, I don't know, like, about as buggy as Fallout 76. Like, it was...
I mean, but there's some games, like, when Skyrim came out in, the Paleolithic era, and, like, people posted all those things about horses pointing directly up in the air and how they could launch themselves into space and stuff, right? But people still really liked the game. I don't know.
Well, personally, this is why I don't get hyped for, like, new games ever anymore. Because, like, every time I've been, like, pretty skeptical about a hyped game that's about to come out, I've usually been correct. Like, I usually go, like, if it's okay on launch, I'll get it, right? So, like Fallout 76, garbage. Fucking No Man's Sky was garbage. New World had a lot of fucking problems, so I never got that. Cyberpunk.
The one exception will be the incredible genius work of art that is Star Citizen that will finally...
Star Citizen was a scam.
The thing about it is I'm old enough that I played like the Wing Commander Privateer, the games that made that guy, like, someone that people liked. And like, these are games on like, this is from the MS-DOS era, right? So these games are like spaceflight sims that utilize what is essentially like sprite graphics, right? To do like 3D space. And it is impressive to be able to accomplish that, right? In that era with that tiny amount of everything that we had to. But coming back and playing Wing Commander Privateer is very funny to think, yeah. So this is just a stepping stone to
Dude,
the
Metroid Prime-
ultimate game.
Is Metroid Prime 4 ever going to fucking come out?
What? Oh, Metroid Prime. I don't
Metroid
know.
Prime 4. Okay, so the teaser, right, where they
It's
said,
not
guys,
good.
we're making
No,
this.
I don't want to hear about this. It breaks my heart.
June 13th, 2017 is when they released a teaser, right? And it was just a giant 4 in like galaxy dust
Yeah.
font, right? And then
Yup.
that's it. And then everyone keeps going, hey, how's it going, Nintendo? And they're like, we're working on it. That's it.
Yep. And
And then people go
and
like,
then-
how about now? We're working on it.
And then they fucking come out and they're like, hey, by the way, we're just scrapping the whole thing and try again because we're not happy with it. So it's like,
Yeah, they're like another company that's not Retro Studios is working on it. We're like, well, hopefully they do a good job. Then like a year later they come back, okay, they did not do a good job, so we're having Retro Studios work on it. And I'm like, oh my fucking god.
it's so upsetting, bro. I absolutely love Metroid Prime, and like when one guy's remaster, I lost my shit.
That was
at the
actually
same time.
really, that was a pretty
Yeah,
well-made remaster
because
too.
they didn't fuck it up. They didn't fuck it up. I'm bitter when it comes to like remasters nowadays. 'Cause I feel like every single remaster that at least I have played of my favorite games all are worse than the original. I'm looking at Majora's Mask. Fuck you. That remake.
Did people
was
not like
horrible.
Did people not like that?
I hated it. They made so many bad changes. It was insane what they did that 4 game.
They kind of like dude, they're like, guys, the bomber notebook does so much more. I'm like, well, it kind of does a couple of extra things. So it's not like that big. I do feel there was some actual quality of life changes to that game. To be honest,
They made one quality of life change. That's the only one I was like cool with, and that was the having the fucking banker be at North Clock Tower instead of being West.
I didn't even remember that change. I remember.
I think they should
However-
give Metroid Prime to the people who made Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. That was a fun,
no.
buggy mess. I want to see like.
But then,
When are they gonna make a Pokemon tits and ass? Like,
yeah, right.
They're not
And
going
then-
to do
No,
that because that's not
no.
legal.
So, in Majora's Mask, okay, the biggest quality of life change was if you put a song of Double Time, which is weird because that actually skips half a day, doesn't speed up time. So with the original and on the GameCube version, right, that would skip half a day, right? In this version, you could skip like up to half a day, but you could choose what hour. So you don't like say like you're in like Icona Valley and you're waiting for the fucking girl to walk out. You're not sitting there. You're not standing there for 20 minutes real time waiting for fucking time to pass. Like you could just skip up to the hour, right?
Okay.
That's great and all, but fuck every other change. They were every single boss. They changed every boss.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They changed it up where they have like that weird like foot
Eyeball
area
that
you
comes
need to
out.
hit. Yeah,
Every
that
single
was a
one
bit
made like
weird.
a giant eyeball. They changed how Zoro Link swims. They got rid of his like fast speed swimming. Okay, the only way to even access it was to have him go with a little like electric aura, and they reduced the speed by like 60%. It was insanely how much slower they made it. I'm like, why?
Guys, you
They
think
changed-
Cat got hit by a car?
They changed location.
Really hooked on.
They changed location of like everything for like no reason either.
Well,
don't
I
know why.
can pretty easily load 2 things, but since I've never done Hello World at all, I imagine doing it as both myself and a dancer at once would probably
You know what
be
though?
pretty hilarious. But we might
When
learn
it-
something more than just sitting around and talking about building PCs and whether or not Metroid Prime 4 is going to come out.
Better, I'm gonna fight someone.
What'll come out first, Cat or Metroid Prime 4?
Yeah, right.
Or Berserk will be finished.
Yeah. I still gotta finish my collecting that, but anyways. So I gotta go on my bad the bad remakes. So I thought that was bad. I don't necessarily want to call this one bad, because it's not bad. I just like the original more because I don't like the remakes, and I prefer Old Man Nier over Yoda Nier. But yeah, the remake of Replica, it was still fine, but I think all the remixes of the soundtrack were worse than the originals, and I think it's kind of a sin they don't let you listen to the original version. Like, I don't even care if you can't get it till you finish, your next playthrough. Like, well, but nope, you don't get it. And then I like having Old Man Nier over
So
Kid Nier.
you know why they made Old Man Nier, right?
Yes, I know why.
Yeah, so I'm just like, dude, at that time, dude, people would have been fine playing like, dude, people were playing fucking Chainsaw Lollipop, okay? Like,
Yeah.
Jesus, I forgot that game existed.
But
Lollipop
so-
Chainsaw.
Yeah, I forgot about that game, low-key.
So I, was super excited for, the remake of Prime 1. But I was also like worried just because I'm like, okay, like 2 of my other all-time favorite games kind of got bad remakes. Please don't fuck this up. And I bought that day one. I'm actually more amazed by myself how much I remembered Prime 1. Like, I almost speedrun that game by accident. I was like, oh,